A blockbuster development at NXT No Mercy as Giulia made her WWE debut confronting Roxanne Perez. Yes, the rumors are true. The speculation is over, as Vic Joseph said on commentary tonight. Giulia has officially signed, it looks like, with WWE. I'm going to tell you in this video why this matters, what this means for not only WWE, NXT, but also Giulia, Roxanne Perez, and the future of the NXT women's division, which is looking red hot as they just got one of the biggest free agent names out there in the game today. Be sure to smash that like button if you haven't already done so. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. All right, I'm fresh off a plane ride, and we're going to go right into it and talk about NXT No Mercy, which, great show. In my opinion, Roxanne Perez tonight proved precisely why she is the queen of the NXT women's division. I think soon to be queen of the WWE women's division in general, because I don't think I've ever seen someone so young in this game. Remember Roxy, when she was like Roxy back in the day, she was so good in Ring of Honor that they made her Ring of Honor Women's World Champion at like the age of 19. And see how far she's come, it's great. But after she had a fantastic match tonight in the title defense, we saw the debut of Giulia. Now, for those of you who may not be aware, Giulia was a former star in Stardom. She was a star for several years in Japan. She, of course, then went over with Rossy Ogawa to do Marigold stuff earlier this year. She wrapped that stuff up earlier this month, and now she is in NXT. Something that has been rumored, speculated, going back to WrestleMania season. There was talk that she had signed. We then saw at the NXT show, WrestleMania weekend in Philadelphia, she and scumbag Rossy Ogawa were in attendance at that show, and WWE made a point to put a spotlight on her and state that she was at the show. So she is here. She comes out after Roxanne Perez, like I said before, tore the house down with Jada Parker, who both of those women deserve a lot of respect. I thought they had the match of the weekend, in my opinion. But then after Roxanne Perez won the match, lights go out as she's celebrating, and we see Giulia come out to an awesome theme, one of the best. I assume it's a Def Rebel theme, but it has to be up there as one of the best Def Rebel themes there is, because honestly, those themes effing suck, don't they? But she comes out to this theme. There's fog everywhere. There's smoke. There's this aura in the building that Giulia, like this larger-than-life presence, is here. Someone who we've been waiting for months. We're finally getting it. And that moment when herself, Roxanne Perez, made eye contact, stood nose to nose, that was the definition of aura. You could feel it across your television screens. If you're watching at home like me, you could feel it in the arena, I'm sure. This felt like a major turning point for the NXT women's division, as they are about to get another new star pretty soon. We're going to talk about that in just a second, but this was awesome. Like, this was the way to debut Giulia, because you're not only giving her a big moment at a big show, like a big pay-per-view level show on Peacock, where there's going to be, you know, the potential for millions of people to see it. I don't think millions will see it, but like millions, the potential is there for millions to see it. And obviously with the clips and everything, you're going to have a large amount of eyeballs around it. But you put her in there with Roxanne Perez, who has been the measuring stick of your women's division in recent years. And you make it clear that Giulia is jumping in front of the line, and she is going to be facing Roxanne Perez. She has her eyes set on that NXT Women's Championship. That is precisely the spot she should be in. That is precisely the spot that I think she needs to be in. I think that's precisely the spot that NXT needs her to be in. Because quite frankly, the reality is Roxanne Perez, if we are looking at NXT as a developmental state, I don't know what else you want from Roxanne Perez as a developmental talent. All that she has left to do at this point is finish up and, pass the title over to someone else. And that is not me saying that I would necessarily want to see her on the main roster. I think, personally, the way she's been booked in NXT has been pretty much, near perfect. And that's, the trouble I have sometimes, because NXT with women's wrestling is an amazing show. The best women's wrestling show, I think, out there in North America. But the problem becomes, when she goes to the main roster, we know that it's not necessarily going to be a one-to-one translation because the booking is not the same. You don't have the same level of a spotlight on you as you would in that, you're more of a focal point in the show coming in. And that all depends on how WWE and Triple H especially decide to make her a focal point. But at the end of the day, that's the main roster. That's where you make the money. That is the level up kind of scenario. And that's where Roxanne Perez is headed. That is the reality of the situation, whether I like it or not. But she's ready to go there. And she's also in that vein ready to drop the title. This also comes as we are still waiting for Stephanie Vaquer to make her official NXT debut. They're obviously working out, I believe, her status at this point, and that I assume WWE will be able to work out rather quickly. But I would give it maybe some time to breathe here between this and when you debut Stephanie Vaquer. In fact, what I would do is I would actually do something interesting. Whatever the first episode of NXT on CW is, they're making a big deal of it. I believe it's either going to be in Tampa or Chicago. But go there, do that show, do the match. Roxanne Perez, Giulia for the NXT Women's Championship. Have Giulia win, and as she's celebrating, bring out Stephanie. Because the last time Stephanie Vaquer and WWE were in the headlines together, it made a lot of noise. A lot of people were talking about it, and it was arguably the biggest story of that week. And her actual debut with the company, facing off against Giulia, someone who she has history with, someone who, going back to her days in Stardom, they have a history there. They were in the Stardom tournament together, and they had a good match. There's so much you could do there. And I think if you want to make sure that you're popping that rating, you're coming in hot with this new era of NXT on the CW, you want to establish these stars when you have the most eyeballs on them, and you're going to have the most eyeballs on them on that first show. That's just the truth of the matter. So Giulia is here. She is in NXT. I think she will be facing Roxanne Perez fairly soon, it looks like. And the cool thing about this too, Roxanne Perez couldn't even help but hide her smile. You could tell she was excited because she knew this was big time, just like we all did at home. And that's the best part, man. I love that stuff. But Giulia's here. Guys, let me know in the comment section what you thought of this moment. Was it perfect like I thought, or did you think it was garbage? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, let me know who you would like to see Giulia face. Is she actually going to beat Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's Championship? I want to hear from y'all. Also, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Until next time, guys, be happy, be healthy, and as always, keep it real.